So, dear friends, once again welcome. And now I'm going to discuss about the types of beam. So, firstly, what is the definition of beam? So, a beam is a structural member used for bearing loads. It is typically used for resisting vertical loads, shear forces, and bending moments. Okay, and here you can see in this is the structure. In the beam, transverse load is acted, and it is an integral part of building structure. So this beam here, this one beam, and see the loads. This is the vertical load, 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 whether acting डाउनवर्ड्स और अपवर्ड्स. ठीक है, ये एक बीम है. बीम पे ये सब फोर्सेस है. यू कैन से द पैरेलल फोर्सेस, वर्टिकल फोर्सेस, चाहे नीचे की ओर या ऊपर की ओर. अब बीम क्या है? एक स्ट्रक्चरल मेंबर्स है. ठीक है, विथ लेंथ इज much greater than the other two dimensions like width, like thickness. Okay, and what about the shear force? So suppose the beam this is the beam and forces are acting. This is the suppose reactive force, this is active force like P. So here, due to shearing, there will be deformation. Means the beam can be separated into two parts due to shearing action. Okay, so that is the shear force. And how to classify? So based on equilibrium conditions. Okay, and equilibrium conditions, we know what is the equilibrium conditions. So net force or the moment should be zero. Okay, like F is equal to 0, summation of M is equal to 0. Okay, then based on the equilibrium conditions, we can classify statically determinate beam and the statically indeterminate beam. So what is statically determinate? So this we can take help of this beam. So we can see here how many reactions are there. This is actually 2 R2. So this is reaction 1 and reaction 2. Okay, so let us read the statement. For a statically determinate beam, equilibrium conditions alone can be used to solve reactions. Okay, so how many equilibrium conditions we have? So equilibrium conditions we have 3. Okay, which one? For 2D, for 2D, summation of fx is equal to 0, summation of fy is equal to 0, and suppose moment about z means its summation is equal to 0. Okay, so from 3 equations we can solve 3 unknowns. So in this example, you can see here this beam, and it is like a simply supported beam. Okay, so how many reactions are there? Two reactions are there. Okay, so by using this uh, summation of Fy is equal to 0 and a moment about any uh, point, like this is B, A, this end and is B. So we can get the two unknowns. What is R1, what is R2, we can get. Okay, what is R1 we can get, what is R2 we can get. Okay, and let us come back. What about the indeterminate beam? So for the statically indeterminate beam, equilibrium conditions are not enough to solve reactions. Okay, so for additional deflections are needed to solve. ठीक है, सो हम उस पर नहीं जा रहे हैं और कौन सी इक्वेशन, बट एक डिफ्लेक्शन इक्वेशन दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड मीन्स दिस थ्री आर not enough. Okay, these three are not enough. So let us see which kind of beam. So see here in this, how many reactions are there? This one, this one, two, and this is three, and this is four. And how many equations we have? And it is in 2D. We have three equations, but the unknowns, four unknowns, means reactions. Okay, so can we solve? From three equations we can solve only three unknowns, but what about the one more unknown? So in this way can we analyze this beam? अल्टीमेटली हमारा पर्पस क्या है कि हम बीम का एनालिसिस कर सकें, द बीम हाउ मच लोड इट कैन बियर इन द स्ट्रक्चर, एंड अकॉर्डिंगली वन कैन डिजाइन, चाहे बिल्डिंग का डिजाइन हो या ब्रिज का डिजाइन हो. ठीक है, दैट्स वाई एनालिसिस इज डन. लेट अस मूव. So the same we are repeating again so that you can remember. This beam, simply supported beam, and two reactions at A, at B, one reaction due to roller, and two reactions due to hinge. And this kind of beam is known as simply supported beam. What about the cantilever beam? This is the cantilever beam. ठीक है, one end is fixed and other end, this suppose this is A, so the free, this end is free end, okay. Then the fixed beam. So here we can see the fixed beam at here, and at A, suppose it is A, B, so three reactions are there, this one, this one, this one. Okay, and here also this one, and rotation. What about the continuous beam? So continuous beam, so how to identify? So you can see how many supports are there. If there are more number of supports, this one first, two, and three, then this the beam is known as the continuous beam. ठीक है, जिसमें बहुत सारे सपोर्ट्स हो थ्रू आउट द लेंथ. ओके, इसी को फिर से देखते हैं, टाइप्स ऑफ बीम्स. द कैंटिलीवर बीम, simply supported beam. Okay, one thing I'm forgetting. We have classified the beam based on equilibrium conditions. Okay, now what about based on the type of support? So first one, the simply supported beam, then second one, the cantilever beam, third one, overhanging beam, and uh, fourth one, the continuous beam, fifth one, the fixed beam. So what is overhanging beam? Like we're talking about overhanging beam. So suppose this is the our beam, and there is a hinge at A, and at here there is a roller support. ठीक है, so you can see overhanging. So this portion is overhanged. ठीक है, ये सपोर्ट के यहाँ पे सपोर्ट से एक्स्ट्रा, जैसे आप देखेंगे घर के सामने एक एक्सटेंडेड पोर्शन रहता है, दैट इज नोन एज द ओवरहैंगिंग बीम. ठीक है, ये दोनों साइड से हो सकता है, लाइक हियर द सपोर्ट में बी हियर, सपोर्ट में बी हियर. तो देख सकते हैं ये बोथ साइड्स द ओवरहैंग्ड. ठीक है, ओवरहैंग this length and this length. Now next, the same coming to the, this I am repeating again and again so that one can remember. ठीक है, this is overhanging and continuous beam. So how many supports are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So more supports are there. Okay, fixed beam, this and is fixed, and this is also fixed. Cantilever support, simply supported. Okay, so this is a, now you can say cantilever में क्या होता है, one end is fixed but the other end is supported by roller. और इसी को एक दूसरे तरीके से विजुलाइज करते हैं. दिस इज द सिंपली सपोर्टेड बीम. ये पोर्शन आपका, दिस वन इज बीम. ठीक है, एंड दिस वॉल गिव लेफ्ट साइड, right side, means one side and another side. So this is simply supported beam. Continuous beam, so this is continuous beam, and this is the wall 1, wall 2, wall 2, wall 3, overhanging beam. दिस आप ये सब देखते होंगे, विजुलाइज करते होंगे, आप जहाँ भी जाते होंगे तो विजुलाइज कीजिएगा. ठीक है, आप देख सकते हैं ओवरहैंगिंग. So this is the beam. Okay, and this is fixed. The wall is there and another wall is there, and this portion ये extra निकला हुआ है. ठीक है, what about the fixed beam? The fixed beam, ये आपका बीम हो गया, ये दोनों वॉल हो गया है, two walls. Concentrated load. Okay, and this is regarding the loads. So at the mid of the beam, this is the concentrated load, and UDL, uniformly distributed load. So you can see this is the uniformly distributed loads with some intensity. And the cantilever beam, what information we get from these? So cantilever beam is fixed with the wall. Okay, and the beam here, the one side is in tension and the other side is in compression. And can you identify this is which type of loading? So this is the beam, obviously this is the beam, and this is the loading, beam and the load, and the load is which type of UVL, uniformly varying load. And what about this arbitrary loading? It is not necessary that always there may be a point load or a distributed load, uniformly distributed load, uniformly varying load. कुछ loads आप देख सकते हैं, this is the beam and this wall 1, wall 2, these two are supports, and see how the load intensity is varying. ठीक है, so that's why it is arbitrarily, means irregular. कहीं पे देखिए आप intensity is increasing, then again decreasing, increasing, decreasing, like that. Okay, and see आप this is which type of, तो कंस्ट्रक्शन में आप देख सकते हैं द दिस काइंड ऑफ बीम, इसमें आपकी रॉड्स हैं, लोहे की रॉड से बना हुआ है. ओके, सो दिस इज कंस्ट्रक्शन बीम. दिस इज विच टाइप ऑफ बीम? सो दिस इज टी beam. Okay, and what about this? So आप देख सकते हैं which type of, तो trussed, TRUSSED beam, trussed beam. the beam is, देख सकते हैं जनरली बीम ट्राइंगल से मिलके बने होते हैं. so this is the triangle, this is the triangle, this is the triangle. Okay, in this way, तो this one triangle, then another triangle, then this one. That's why trussed beam. And what about this beam? What will be the name? So here I shape. The beam is of which type of beam? So it is I beam. And what about this? So it is L shaped. L shaped. L shaped beam. अब चलिए आपको विलेज की यात्रा करवाते हैं. ठीक है, आप विलेज में देखेंगे तो पहले ऐसे घर हुआ करता था, आजकल तो पूरा चेंज हो गया है. ये मिट्टी के घर आपको मिलेगा नहीं, इस टाइप का पत्थर का घर मिलेगा नहीं. ठीक है, आजकल पूरा सीमेंटेड हो गया है, पक्की घर हो गया है. ओके, सो विजुअलाइज दिस विथ वुडन बॉन्ड बीम. तो आप देख सकते हैं दिस वन, ये जो आपको दिख रहा है, ये जो एक लंबी सी, द लॉन्ग स्ट्रिप लाइक दैट, लॉन्ग स्ट्रिप here, here, and here also. In the right side the building you see, so these are the wooden beam. And just गेट के ऊपर एक स्लैब, दिस स्लैब. ठीक है, तो ये nowadays by cement, but earlier days by the wood. Here also we can visualize this. This building is made of the rocks, and this line, it means this strip is known as the beam. And with and without wooden bond beam. ठीक है, तो ये आप देख सकते हैं आप देख सकते हैं दिस इज विथ एंड विदाउट। तो अगर विदाउट, अगर बीम नहीं लगा हो, if there is no beam, so see what happens here. The deformation, the cracks are there. The building may be collapsed easily, but there will be beam. So that beam carries the load, and the building may last the longer. ठीक है, उसका लाइफ, बिल्डिंग life increases with the beam. So in this way we have done the types of beams with the different aspects. I hope you have enjoyed, you will enjoy this, and with this, thank you.